I'm joined today by the immensely creative, all right, forthcoming with brilliant advice and great reading material. Okay, we've talked a bunch over the last few years, and I feel like anytime I've had a question on something, comics related or writing related, you've been there with some answer. Um, and the mastermind of three panel crimes, Mr. Tony Fabro. Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing great. I'm really happy to have you here, man. Like we were talking about earlier, like you're the first person who I'm bringing on here that I actually know in real life and have had real interactions with, and not just everything being cyber and on the internet. Um, and I'm so happy here. I think what you make with Three Panel Crimes on Instagram is some of the coolest shit on the internet. Some incredible storytelling in a really uh, simple way, but there's so much. I think just because something is simple doesn't make it easy, but I think
Mm.
you totally make it look easy, you know. Um, but yeah, do you will you tell the world, the internet people who are watching, a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how did you get started in comics and writing?
Sure. What's up, internet? My name's Tony Fabro. I write a webcomic called Three Panel Crimes. What that is it's a different crime story, usually once per week, told in just three silent panels. So just three illustrations, no dialogue, no speech bubbles or balloons, and hopefully that gets across a uh, a crime story. We worked with shit. It's probably like 200 different artists by this point.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's been cool, and it's just something I've been doing like every day for the last couple of years as a way of just finishing shit. I have other projects like longer form things, but those take a long time.
Yeah.
So this was a good way of just getting things out in the world and then also getting some feedback from people.
Yeah, I love that, man. I love that this just became something that you were just doing every day, and now it's become well, let me actually, do you feel like it's become something even bigger than just like what was originally your warm up and a desire to finish things?
Yeah. I mean, originally it was a joke. I was just I was hanging around, like after I took a comic book writing class. Actually, I took a couple at Meltdown Comics.
Hmm.
And then I was just hanging out outside the store. It's like 10:30 at night. And I was just like, oh, you think you could tell a story in like only three panels? And that was that. So put together a few things, found a creative team, and then just kept plugging away at it. And the rule was just no matter what, like at least one every week,
Yeah.
just to constantly have like momentum of making something. Because like I think it's hard to get started. At least it was for me in terms of like, well, what do I do? And there's all these ideas, and finding artists was a big challenge for me. I remember going to like Meltdown, like talking to the people there, to be like, "Hey, like I got these scripts. Do you guys know any artists?" And
Yeah.
just be like, "No." um, and what I didn't realize is like it's kind of a big ask to just hit up an artist and be like, "Yo,
Yeah.
can I have like 3 months to like 6 months of your fucking life so you can draw this thing?" And I have no
Yeah.
track record, and we don't know if it's going to go anywhere. Can you do it for half your rate as well? Like it's hard. It's hard to get that done. Um, and honestly, like my scripts weren't good enough. So things were better like this way, just starting like super small
Yeah.
and then using that. It's been nice because I get to use like some of those skills in terms of like dealing with different personalities and deadlines and giving people notes and all that stuff. I just take all that shit and put it over into my longer stuff.
That's cool. And what
Like,
are some of like the lessons you've learned from doing three panel crimes for what, the last 2 years now?
yeah, the lessons I've learned, definitely, if you think you should fix it, fix it. Anytime I'm just kind of like, that's okay. It doesn't like hit as well, but when I like actually sit down and go, okay, well, like, yes, this is done, but how can it be better? Like every single one, if I go and I try to make it better every step of the way, like from roughs to, inks to colors, putting in that same amount of effort on like what I'm doing at that moment,
Yeah.
those are the ones that people respond to, and that really, those are kind of cool. And also like the collaboration with the artist, because sometimes an artist will be like, actually, I'm working on something right now because I'm starting to do some animated stuff
Mm-hmm.
because I have a film background, and because of COVID and the fact that I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere in Canada right now, shooting things live is not really an option. So, but anyways, we're working on this one thing with this animator, and it's the same setup as like a joke, right? It's like, one, two, three,
Yeah.
and he said, hey, like he made a little adjustment. It was just this idea. He was like, you know what if we did this? And like it made the whole thing way funnier. So that's also something. It's just like actually collaborating with people, not just being like, I wrote it like this, so it has to be exactly like this. Because there's all sorts of like nice little um, discoveries and happy accidents
Yeah.
that come in the process.
And I feel like that's like it's a hard ask for, say, three panel crimes if you're asking an artist to do it a really specific way, especially when there's no dialogue in it, when everything is so visually driven.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think, I always wonder when I found out that you were doing this, and that you were coming at it from the writer perspective, but how do you write something that's like, I mean, this is a really silly question, I think, but how do you write in a way that's, there's no dialogue, right? You're storytelling in these three panels. Everything is visual. Like, where is a writer's place in that? In Yeah, I feel like
Well,
maybe you're more of like a director in that way than you are like
a
strictly
little
a
bit, yeah.
writer.
Because I was just about to bring that up because, like, a big thing that I like about, and this is my opinion, but comic scripts are very similar to. I'm writing a shot list for the artist,
Mm-hmm.
and the important thing that I keep in mind though is like it's a collaboration. So if I have an idea for like a composition and like like staging, it's good to have an idea of where I want to go with something. But once again, like not being married to it because somebody else who's actually drawing it, they can bring like a lot of the, I don't know, the spice to it, makes it better.
Yeah.
But other times, man, I'll draw little storyboards of like my like shitty stick figure drawings or
Yeah.
whatever, and I'll be like, does this kind of work? But yeah, like a lot of I started out like doing like music videos and short films and things like that. Um, and I've always been really interested in visual storytelling.
Yeah.
So I hate it when like I open a book and there's like the entire page is just like speech balloons. Um, that's just my personal preference. Is like I'd much rather see something
Yeah.
done in a really cool way in the pages, and like yeah, it's just but the way that I write it is I just try to write like, hey, this is what happens. So like I imagine like it's like if I'm looking at a photograph in my head, and I have to remember, this is the other thing is it's different from film, is it's a static shot. It's a still moment.
Yeah.
So I'm walking through a situation and I'm like pausing time. Not like that shitty Adam Sandler movie, but
Yo, I love Click. All right, I think it's a
oh
solid,
no,
solid film. Oh no, he's taking off the AirPods.
it was good. No, it was good. It was good. I'm sorry, Mr. Sandler. By the way, did you see what the fuck was that movie called? The new one where he's the jeweler.
Yeah, Uncut Gems.
There we go. Thank you. Yes,
What'd
that
you
was
think?
crazy.
Yeah, that whole movie was so anxiety inducing for me. I was a
It
little
was.
high when I was watching it too, so I feel like I just like really, really felt it.
Oh yeah, he did. Well, it was funny though because like they totally nailed like those guys. It's like I
Hmm.
worked in the jewelry district in LA for a while, and it was like spot. I was like, oh,
You knew those
there's that
guys.
guy. There's that guy. Hey, like that's. It's funny though. I don't know. I've always thought about like doing a story about some of that stuff, but maybe I'll wait a little bit for the uncut gems.
Wait for the yeah, wait for the Uncut Gems hype to die down, so then Tony can come in with the LA Jewelry District
Yeah,
version.
like I'll get Dexter to like draw Adam Sandler into the book somewhere,
And
and then hopefully we don't get sued.
Dexter is one of your main artists, right, for Three Panel Crimes?
Yeah, he's the guy that I started with. Um, I thought about like what's the most fucked up thing that someone would draw, and then I hit him up. I found him through Facebook. It was the connecting comic book writers and artists group. It's got like 30,000 people now.
Hmm.
Um,
I actually just applied to enter that today, and they make you
Good.
like answer this huge ass questionnaire about getting in, and
Really?
yeah, well, it's not huge, but there's like a couple questions. But one of the questions is like, did you read their pinned post? And their pinned post is like crazy long. It's like a fucking
Oh,
essay, and I'm like,
that's just
someone
because
broke the rules and fucked this up for everyone.
someone breaks the rules like every 15 minutes, like every day. I feel bad for the moderator. Like, great guy.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's like one dude, right?
is one dude, and like he's just dealing with so much shit. I can't imagine, dude, because it's just like people come in and they're like, yo, I want you to do like my 800 issue magnum opus for free.
Yeah.
And then the artists are like, fuck you.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think like some writers just can't get in their head that art takes so long and it's a grueling process? Where's that disconnect, do you think?
I think it really comes down to like a lot of writers don't draw.
Mm-hmm.
And then also if it's guys that are like they want to make a comic book but they've never made anything, maybe they don't have any context as to like how long it actually takes to make something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Here's what I think it is.
Um,
I have a take on this. I
okay.
think, because this is how I used to think. I think that um, people who don't draw
Yeah.
believe that drawing is like an innate ability, kind of like singing. You know, you hear people, they're like, oh my God, they were born with like this voice of an angel, right? And I think some folks consider drawing really similar, right? Where it's just something that is innate in you and you can do it and you train to get better, but that fundamental you're just born with. And I feel like
Right.
writers um, don't understand that it's not like for some people, yes, they have that innate ability. They can just go for it and do great. But I think writers don't understand that that's not necessarily the truth, that this is a craft that, you know, people work at and they build at. And that's why they have to, you know, when they work so hard on something and the process itself takes so long, like it's a huge time commitment to draw a comic. And I don't, and you
Yeah.
know, if you're writing a comic, I feel like that time commitment for you is a lot smaller. So that's where I think that disconnect is.
Oh, totally. But I think it's like any other creative pursuit, right? It's just like you can look at somebody and watch them do something and you're like, oh, okay, I could do that until like you actually go and try to do that.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's just been like, how can I fail upwards the whole time? I'm just willing to be shitty at something
Yeah.
longer than somebody else who gave up. Like that's the only magic secret. Like I remember when I was like 20, I used to go to like all these different like Q&As and all this shit because I was looking for the secret sauce. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I was
yeah, yeah.
watching all the YouTube videos and like there were websites that had old Laserdisc commentaries, and I was just like, somebody tell me how to fucking do this shit.
Yeah.
And every single time, the good ones anyways, would be like, just just do it. Just make things practice. And I'm like, it can't possibly be as simple as just putting in hours and effort on developing a skill. There's got to be some sort of magic code I haven't figured out yet. But it's really just showing up whether you feel like it or not, at least for me. And that's what's been really helpful with the 3 panel crimes thing is it's just having that consistent routine because my brain wants to run off and do all sorts of other shit.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, what really works is just, okay, this time of the day is time to work on this and this is that. And like, just helps me organize things. So it's like, it's all the lame shit that like people always said when you're like, you
Yeah.
know, when you're a kid, it's just like, make your fucking bed, you know, like, oh, just whatever. It's so simple, but like, it really does make, at least for me, it makes a difference. Cause it's like, if I made my bed, then my next action is probably going to be something productive in some way.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm paying attention, then I can get a lot of things done in a day. It's when I'm like, I don't know, kind of drifting. I don't know if you ever feel like that. Or you just like lose time.
Yeah, all the time. I think if I'm structured in the morning, I think the rest of my day can follow suit until maybe about 2 p.m. when my mind
Yeah.
just loses it and I'm just like I don't know what I'm doing anymore. That morning time is when I'm most creative, when I'm most like
Yeah.
able to get things done and get moving on projects that I've been putting off. But it is hard because it's like you either do that or you stay in bed where it's warm and life is okay. So I was gonna ask like why is it so hard to do stuff, but or to follow that advice of just doing it because you were talking about finding the secret sauce, and I feel like there is a secret sauce. It is just discipline. It is just like making the
Mm-hmm.
time to do things. Um, but I did the same thing. I remember when I was in college, I was paying $50 a month to Skype with this comic artist I really liked,
Yeah.
and we would have meetings once a month. Uh, I was paying $50 for like an hour of his time. And
Yeah.
I was just like, he's going to tell me the secret sauce. And the one thing that I found, which I did like and actually did help, wasn't necessarily like, he said the same things you did, right? He's like, you got to do it every day. You got to make time for it.
Right.
You got to be disciplined about it. And I was like, whatever, I don't care about that for the before. But one thing he said that I really loved was that creativity is, for him, is like communing with a higher power, right?
Oh, totally.
It was the way he described it was really interesting. He was like, you know, I believe that there is a collective consciousness out there, right? That the universe operates by. And when we are here in our bodies, we're just like a small droplet of that, that full consciousness, right? We're here and the consciousness, whatever that is, created the video game. And now we're here. We forgot we were that. We forgot we were the programmer. And now we're here
Mm-hmm.
playing the game. And when I'm being creative, that I'm here with my pen and paper, drawing, brainstorming, whatever, that's a conversation I'm having with that collective consciousness. But everything that's coming out, that's being put on the paper is just like my interpretation of that. What do you make of that? Do you have like some similar ideas or?
Well, I really like a book that I read a long time ago. Um, that I really liked was Think and Grow Rich by a guy named Napoleon Hill. And he touches on it. This is back like Andrew Carnegie, I
Mm-hmm.
think, paid this guy to write this book. So this is like a while ago. Um, but it was really interesting because what he talked about was basically just the power of your thoughts. And for me, I like my thinking informs what my next actions are going to be.
Yeah.
And then my actions get results. That's always been the case. So if my thinking is fucked up, my actions are usually fucked up, and then my circumstances are shitty, and then it kind of creates a vicious cycle, right?
Right.
So when I pay attention to my thoughts and I'm more like open to like, okay, like what's going on? Like what do I see? What do I want to say about something? Is there anything that could be useful to somebody else
Yeah.
in terms of my take on whatever? Um, did I learn anything? And then how can I show it? I think that's part of the like the collective consciousness and what you're talking about is like there's things that are just true, and
Yeah.
that when we're kind of just I don't know, like in line. I'm fucking up the way of saying this correctly, but I guess like what I'm trying to say is there's a reason why like we tell each other the same stories over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I mean, the only two emotions that human beings have are either love or fear in
Mm.
one way or another. You know what I mean? Like it always boils down.
That's
And
interesting.
that's, yeah.
I feel like, and I agree with you about love and fear. And I also think like the two stories we tell as humans, right, are um I, I feel like every story kind of falls into these two categories, and it's people falling in love and people breaking up, you know? And we think about that
Mm-hmm.
like in a bigger term, you know, it's like two people coming together and two people falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Um in some way, shape, or form, right?
Totally.
And it's interesting that you're talking about like, you know, having your thoughts being there and dictating like your actions. But I feel like how do you keep your thoughts good and like, you know, quote unquote good and like in
Sure.
optimal in a place where you can be creative, you can be doing these things and live the life you want to live. But on the other hand, I feel like, you know, bad thoughts have just a way of repeating themselves. They just come back like they're constant. How do you combat that? Do you do you have anything for that?
Um, I'm going to start sounding like some sort of like kung fu master.
No, yeah, please. I love it. I'm into it.
but um, but in all seriousness, it's like, well, I think for me, what I found is like not fighting things.
Mm,
As weird as that is, I was like, how the fuck does that work? It just does. Like, I'm just like, oh, okay. What's more important for me is like paying attention. If I'm paying attention to what I'm doing, and I'm paying attention to like what I'm thinking, which kind of opens up like a whole other like can of worms, right? Because it's like who's thinking and who's watching. Like, what the fuck is all that about? But
yeah.
I don't, I don't know. That still trips me out. But it's just like, okay, well, if I'm paying attention, then if like let's say my brain is a car and it's going off the road, if I'm not asleep at the wheel, I have a much better chance of getting things back on track.
Yeah.
Um, and I think also it just comes down to practice. I mean, like back to the writing thing, what I used to be obsessed with was the results.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, oh yeah, like I want to like make a really cool story and like that people really like and like, make some money and blah blah blah, and, like all this shit, right? But all those things had actually nothing to do with making a story. So what I learned to do is to actually like love the actual the action of something, like the process of something, like making a fucking story or like hitting up artists and being like, yo, this is what I'm doing. Would you like to do this? And then if they're down, it's great because then I can get to like make a new acquaintance or friend. Like I've met a whole bunch of people
Yeah.
through this. It's just been really tight. That whole process has become more important to me than like how many followers we have or if like, I don't know, if we sell a giant collection book of them or not. Those things are nice, but that's not like the only. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Uh, what I feel like in hearing other interviews that you've done, people can be like, "This is such a great idea because you can turn it into this and that and this." And I don't know how you feel about this, but I think having that potential is nice. But I feel like just what you have as three panel crimes is really beautiful. Like just that fact that the magic in it kind of comes from the collaboration between you
Hmm.
and the artist, and then also like the audience who are seeing these, swiping through everything, interpreting them, you know? Like I love going through the comments once you've posted something new, and if it's like a little vague and ambiguous, people have these long paragraphs about like what they think it is. Like I love that people are extrapolating so much from what you're posting.
I got to start doing some shit about like conspiracy theories.
Three
Like,
panel conspiracies.
no, like just like crimes, but like that have vague references to conspiracy theories. Because I want to see like some of the internet come out in the comments.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't like, people will be like, the poster in the back is the Twin Towers. And I'm just like, no, it's not. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Are
But
there
it's
any that
great.
you remember that like really, really surprised you? That you were like, "What? You're on drugs, kid."
Uh, the one with the mom who gets torn out of the picture frame.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow somebody made that a 9/11 reference. That was interesting because that wasn't what I was going for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the comments, but also I like the people that just show up to like instigate confusion. Like they'll just show up and say something random as fuck. Like this is what it is, and
Oh,
then
to
I'll
throw
watch.
everyone off.
Dude, I'll just get the popcorn out and watch like people have an argument. It's nice. I like that people are involved. It's kind of fun. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think I'll always do this as it is. And then if other things come of it, then that's great. But like this is just a thing that I enjoy doing. It's like my some people have skateboarding or
Yeah.
like like playing baseball on the weekends or playing like video games with their friends. But it's also been fun for testing out ideas and seeing if people respond to those kind of concepts or characters.
Totally.
So then I can turn them into longer things.
Yeah. Has that happened yet? Where you've posted something, you've thrown something in, and you're like, "Oh, that's an idea that I can turn into something more," and you followed
Yep.
up with that. Can
Hmm.
you speak on any of those? Are
Uh,
they secret
sure.
NDA?
Nah, man. I'm not. I'm starting a newsletter where I'm going to start basically just saying, hey, this is the shit that I'm up to.
Cool.
And I'm just going to tell people what the things are. I'm not going to like
Yeah.
spoil it, but I'm just going to be like, this is what it is.
I
If you
think
want to
that'd be.
steal the idea, go right ahead.
Wow, let's see your interpretation of this, motherfuckers.
Do it better. Yeah. Write this in your style.
Yeah. That's one thing I was going to ask you actually was beyond three panel crimes, like what else would you love to be known for?
I'd really like to do some music videos again. That'd be fun.
Hmm.
Yeah. I like those, but like animated ones. I really like good animation.
Yeah.
Um, and then, you know, just stories, man. Like there's the Tales from the Loop guy, Simon Stalenhag. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, um, but he does these like great narrative art books. It's
Mm-hmm.
like one half is this, page of text, and then the other half is like this great, huge illustration that he did like speed painting
Yeah.
digitally. And I was just like, I would love to do something like that where it's kind of like a hybrid novel, but it's an art book. I think that would be a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
That'd be cool because then you can kind of play with that narrative style and how you use words, right? Like, or do you even need words? Like, I think it's so interesting that you've become a writer not known for words. Like, I I think that's fucking badass. Like, that's some
Thanks, dude.
Jedi master shit.
There's like, so I was really having trouble figuring out what I wanted to write and like
Mm-hmm.
how to do stuff. And I was really, really into like all the Will Eisner stuff.
Mm-hmm.
the Contract with God trilogy and all that.
I've never read Will Eisner.
Oh, dude, you gotta check him out. He's fucking dope.
Okay.
If you want.
No, listen, Tony, I will take any reading recommendation you give me. You've not steered me
Contract
wrong.
Contract with God is great because it's probably, especially the first story, is one of the best fictional pieces about why bad things happen to good people
Mm-hmm.
that I've like ever read or seen or experienced. Or I was just like, oh, okay.
That's your reaction to there being no justice in the universe. Yeah, all right, cool.
Well, I mean, is there any other reaction? I mean, like,
Well, you just accept
if
it
I
so
don't have
so
if I don't have
chillly.
control over something, then I'm just gonna burn out. Trying to. I remember when I was a little kid, I used to get like mad and then very anxious because I learned that like the sun was gonna die one day.
Yeah,
I
billions
just
of
remember
years from
freaking out.
now.
Right. So I was just like, fuck, like, what are we gonna do? Oh man, we gotta get on this. And like, I'd like ask my science teacher, and they'd be like, you're fucking crazy.
You're not
Um,
crazy though. I had that same fear because I thought about that and I was like, yeah, our
good.
sun's gonna explode. One, it's gonna turn red. Like before it even explodes, it's gonna turn red. What the fuck is
Yeah,
that gonna do to everything?
dude. And then like, not only that, but like, we're on a fucking floating rock in space in a universe that's just like constantly expanding.
And at some point, it's
And
gonna contract. So we're waiting for
at some
that to
point,
happen.
like, there's so much shit, right? So a lot of my rationale for the dumb shit I did when I was a kid and a teenager was like, well, nothing matters because we're just here
Yeah.
floating through a void. And then I was like, oh, well, hmm, that's not really a great way to live my life. So I started doing something else. And that was really where like stories came into it, because through stories, I found like, oh, here's somebody that had like that same kind of anxiety or that same thought. But
Yeah.
here's what they did with it. Here's how they could like live their life and like move on with just living instead of just kind of freaking out about everything. I guess the biggest thing that I'd like to tackle in terms of stories is like how people can take like shit and turn it into some sort of positive situation.
Yeah.
Which sounds really weird from a guy that like writes comics about like using children as drug mules, but just accepting of what I can't change.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
just going forward with like, okay, well, what can I do? What can I focus on? Which comes back into like the whole like super short thing is like it's so much more manageable because I'm just like, what's up, artist? And they're like, hey, how's it going? And we either work out or we don't, but like it's not thousands of dollars and months of somebody's life.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
it's just
down the
like
drain for some whatever
I've
project.
only ever ran into like two assholes,
Mm. That's impressive.
and I don't remember who they are because I was just like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
And because there's so many nice people that are just like easy to work with and really cool.
Yeah.
If anything, like this has been a really great exercise in like realizing that a lot of people are just super awesome and really nice, and most people are not shit.
Yeah.
The world is actually a lot less scary than I thought it was.
Oh yeah. Well, that's so funny. That's so wholesome for a guy. Yeah. Who writes about uh criminals
Yeah.
and like this like dark side of humanity. Uh, Now, why crimes? What's got you so what is so enthralling about exploring like that part of our minds of humanity?
Well, I always thought that, criminals are just people that are taking shortcuts
Hmm. And that
or
makes sense. That's
they're
relatable, right? We all want that. that
Exactly.
shortcut
Like
for our lives.
they're relating, they're reacting to things.
Yeah.
Like most of the people in the comics, like they're in a set of circumstances that they don't like, so they react to it and get themselves into more trouble. And I found that to be true in my own life experience way too
Uh-oh.
many times.
How much crime are
But
you
yeah,
committing, Tony?
I think crime is just, it's something that like it's a twofold thing, because we get to vicariously experience taking the shortcut,
Yeah.
and that's fun. But at the same time, we're also validated in following the rules to a certain extent. When we see that character is like, oh yeah, but you know, Tony Soprano gets lit up in the end. Like he had a wild ride, but oh yeah, that's why I still, you know, do what I
Yeah.
do and live my life peacefully and whatnot, because I don't want to get like blown up. So it affirms like this kind of I don't know, this agreement that we're all in, right? Because we're
Yeah.
all, I mean, especially with the pandemic and everything, like we are very much all interconnected in terms of there's no one thing that doesn't somehow uh, affect
The other.
another thing
Yeah.
in our society and like in our lives. So, you know, if all the truck drivers quit their jobs tomorrow, the stores wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
Like what would happen? Do you get what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it's kind of scary. There was a movie I watched. It was about like the nuclear holocaust. It's called Threads,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just, it's really depressing. But like it's this, it's a made for TV movie, I think, in 5 hour long chapters or something. I can't remember, but
5 hours.
basically it just shows like the decline of people right after, like, but like in a realistic way. So it's not like, oh my god, there's zombies and like random shit. It just shows like, oh well, like when this doesn't happen anymore, then we don't have this, and this
Yeah.
makes this happen. So like it's, I don't know. I'm very grateful for the infrastructure that we
Of
have in place, and
the
I think
infrastructure of society.
sure, but I also think that that's like a big reason why, you know, we tell stories.
Yeah.
It teaches us things, but in a palatable way, rather than like, I don't, like when somebody tells me like, do this fucking thing just because, and like I'm like, fuck you. But when somebody tells me an entertaining story that makes me come to the conclusion on my own, like I kind of think it's my own idea, so
Yeah.
I'm much
Yeah.
more likely to go along with it and do it. Back to the thing with the wordless stuff. Will Eisner really liked a guy named Lynd Ward.
Oh, yeah, I know Lind Ward. He was like the wood
Yeah,
paneling, right?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I've
the
seen those.
wood blocks and stuff. So he made these wordless novels, and I remember I picked those up, and I was like, "Yo, these are fucking great!" And like even before that, I remember when I was at film school, there was a movie I watched called The Naked Prey,
Mm-hmm.
which won an Academy Award the year it came out. What, I can't remember the year. I think it was in the 50s. But anyways, there's no dialogue. Pretty like it's very very sparse. Most of the movie, there's like an hour and something of like no talking whatsoever. I was like, this is crazy. I didn't know you could do this.
Yeah.
And when I was in town, I went to the Academy Motion Pictures and Science, like the library thing that they have,
Yeah.
which is really cool. Like anybody that lives in LA should go check it out. They're like, that's the only place to get the script for that movie. You can't
Oh,
find it
interesting. Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
Like no one fucking had, and you gotta like, I think they give you like white gloves. I can't remember, but I know you're not allowed to like bring in like any notebooks or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
you leave all your shit in like a locker, and you come in and you read it and then you leave. Like
Yeah.
it was locked down, but it was really cool to like see an entire film script that was just all action, like all visual.
Yeah, that
And
is crazy.
yeah, what I like about stuff like that is it's very similar to like paintings. Like we've been doing this shit for a long time.
Yeah.
Even like Scott McCloud is like making comics books. He talks about like the cave paintings and things like that as being the original comics. And I think there's something that's really great about telling a story in just images because it makes whoever's reading it have to participate in what's going on. And they
Hmm.
have to bring, like for me, if I'm reading a comic and it's wordless, I'm bringing a lot of information to it from my life because like I'm recognizing symbols and things and expressions and whatnot in the art, right? Like that character looks, you know, he looks heartbroken. Well, why do I know that? Because I've experienced that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so
There
it
is a lot of projection that happens when you're reading a comic, especially
exactly
because
it pull.
it's so visual, and sometimes it's just non-specific enough that you're able to fill in the gaps with yourself and your experiences.
Yeah, so like it pulls me in. It's interactive,
Yeah.
which is what I like. It's kind of like our first virtual reality.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, that's it's an interesting way to put it, where you're sucked into this place, you fill in the gaps, and also like the depth of what you're seeing and the time in which you experience things varies based on what you are bringing when you're reading to a comic like that.
Totally. Have you ever like on a kind of similar note, but like have you ever watched something when you were a kid and like loved it and then you watched it again when you're an adult and it's still good, but
Yeah.
like you have all this other shit from life that you're bringing life experience to your viewing
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're kind of like some things don't really play. You're like, I don't know, or something feels different, right? Because we've accumulated more data.
Yeah, there's yeah, you come into it with different lenses. I feel like
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a movie where that's happened. Like this is a probably a bad example, but I think like Shrek. Like I remember watching that as a kid and just loving it. Like it was funny to me. But then
Yeah.
like when I got older and I understood things, I was like, oh, there's like this is happening, or that's what this is referencing. Um, like that's like really basic level, but I feel like it's the same sort of thing. Like you bring into it with your experiences and your the life you've lived, and now things are have a little bit of a deeper meaning to them when you're looking a little more closely.
Yeah. Like I have back to the thing about like friends that had like kids and whatnot. It's really interesting to hear them talk about it because now there's certain stuff they can't like watch or
Mm.
read because it's like
Yeah.
too disturbing. Like if a kid gets kidnapped in a movie, they're like, "Yo!" Like, do you know what I mean? Because like they have a context of like
Yeah.
what that would feel like. Whereas like I don't have kids
Yeah.
that I know of, so
That I know of, Tony.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. But
So I don't have the context.
yeah, you can still watch Taken and be like, go Liam Neeson, man, that guy kicks ass. And you don't have to worry about
I mean, that
everything
he
else.
would. He just seems like someone's really cool uncle. He'd have some life advice, or he'd just be absent because he was always busy saving people. One or the other.
Yeah, there's no in between for a guy like that. He's all action all the time, or just
Ah, man,
a sweetheart.
it's got certain skills.
It's going after you.
Emotional intelligence, maybe not.
All right, Tony, I've got one more question for you, and then we're gonna get into this segment that I spoke about earlier, where I pitch you crimes and we try to come up with something.
Got it.
And I want you to tell me about the band panels. Okay, these are I remember it because I was very sad. I remember there was an acid trip 3-panel crimes that was removed from Instagram. And I think that one was my favorite 3-panel crime. And I wanted to show it to everybody. And as I shared it, it said, this post is not available. And I was like, what happened? What happened here? You were taken down by the man. What are there any
Yeah,
more?
so very strange. It's funny, I was just talking to the artist that drew those today. His name's Danny Ochoa.
Mm-hmm.
He's a cartoonist and animator up in the Bay Area. Anyways, so the deal with that is apparently it is okay to use a child as a drug mule, but it is not okay to give a child acid
Right.
because going on magical adventures with your stuffed rabbit, not okay.
Not copacetic. To be
No.
fair, I did see the kid drug muling, and it's not explicit that it came out of him. We just see the drugs in the toilet. We don't see little man on the toilet, from what I
This is true.
remember. So,
Well, no, he's on the toilet in the second panel.
oh, okay, never mind then.
So, like, I guess I was surprised because I was just like, that's what's not okay? Like I know we're pushing the envelope, but for real, but it was all right, you know. Actually, it gave me an idea. Just I'm putting my website together,
Mm-hmm.
and part of the newsletter that I'm gonna start putting out is I'm gonna do 3-panel crimes that I'm not putting on Instagram that are like
Mm.
too crazy to put on social media.
Well, listen, I'm gonna pitch it right here now. I think this is the perfect time for the 3-panel crimes OnlyFans.
Um,
It'll be
that's a
all
good
those.
point.
It'll be all of those.
That would be really strange. I wonder if someone's doing that.
I'm really curious about it too. I don't know much about OnlyFans, but from what I know, it feels like it's only like sexual things. But I was like,
You know what? Let's go look.
I feel like it'd be great if there was
All
like an
right,
OnlyFans for like
let's
creative work.
OnlyFans for comics. Okay, I'm googling this right now. Let's see what happens. I'm expecting a lot of like really messed up shit.
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
Yeah, holy fuck. It's all porn comics.
It's all porn comics.
Yeah, here's some shout outs. There's one called the Sextronaut. Uh $7 a month.
It's not bad, dude.
Gotcha.
Let me
Let's
see.
see.
I'm gonna look up some too. Fuck it.
Uh, DY Comics is doing something. The good folks at Reddit have a thread going.
I'm scared to click OnlyFans. I just don't want it on my search history. I feel like
Oh,
I'm gonna get in trouble for it one day.
I'm okay.
Only because I'll stream and then I'll share my screen and OnlyFans gonna pop up and everyone who's watching me is gonna think that I have an account. Which I'm not
Well,
opposed to. I feel like they're pretty fun, but I just, feel like it's too much heat for me right now.
we can share an account if you want. You know, we can go halfers.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Thanks, buddy.
See, we just started an OnlyFans pool. We're like
OnlyFans pool.
we like fantasy football, but for OnlyFans. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry. Comics sign up for adult entertainment website. No fucking way. That is hilarious. Whoa. I mean, it being November and me having the porn stash going on right now,
Now is the time, Tony.
this is very crazy. Okay. Didn't know that existed. Thank
Well,
you.
there you go. Another
But
revenue
anyways,
source.
I mean, I was going to do the newsletter and the website, but
But now the OnlyFans is looking a little more lucrative.
like 5 years later, I'm just like drowning in a pool somewhere in Chatsworth. Damn it, Kevin.
Yeah, the OnlyFans rabbit hole took you to some real dark places.
I mean, Chatsworth is it's a nice place with nice people. Never mind.
My
The
dad grew up
Valley is a magical place.
the Valley. I've come around on the Valley. I used to shit on the Valley all the time. I used to say it was where dreams go to die. But
Yeah.
I was just shitting on it. I don't know. I don't actually believe in that, but my
Yeah.
dad went to high school in Chatsworth, and I think this is what kind of sparked that. And it was that Chatsworth High School has the worst mascot. Their mascot is like a dude in like judge. He looks like a judge, like in judge clothing and shit.
Oh
And
shit! I know. Yeah,
they're
yeah.
called
He
the
looks like a.
Chancellors or something.
I think I remember because I used to live. The first time I lived in LA, I lived near the Warner Center.
Okay, yeah.
So actually, I was in the Valley. Like I was Canoga Park, Woodland Hills,
Oh yeah,
and
that area is really nice. I just drove through there the other day.
Chats.
Yeah, if you look up Chatsworth High School
Or
Chancellors,
because I think I remember he looked like almost like an executioner, right?
I don't remember. I feel like he looked more like Elmer Fudd in like judge clothing.
Where should we call them and be like, "Yo, can we make comics with your mascot?"
Yeah, how much for the rights to your mascot?
The rights are free. The right. Oh wow, yeah. Never mind. That's not what I was thinking of. That it looks like a baby
Oh
with a
yeah, it looks
crown.
different. It looks like it's a baby with the crown. But still, chancellors, like other schools are lions, wildcats,
Oh,
tigers, knights. That shit's
okay,
badass.
okay. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna take the Chancellor, and I'll make a 3-panel crime. Send me a picture of your dad.
Oh no.
I'm just kidding. If you don't want to,
No,
but
that
Dexter's
sounds
really good at
great.
drawing people.
Uh
He drew the guys from the Launchpad podcast into a 3-panel.
Wait, that's awesome.
That was funny.
Oh yeah, I'll send you guys a picture of my dad. It looks like me, just his face a little thinner.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be. Do you want to be in it too?
Yeah, throw us both in there.
All right, it'll be you guys taking on the Chatsworth Chancellor.
Running off with the mascot head.
It'll have. Well, hey, I don't know. I haven't wrote it yet.
Well, actually, let's get into it. I'm gonna pitch you some crimes, and let's see well, if you're up to it, let's see what we can kind of come up with. If these
Sure.
are 3-panel crime worthy. Um, do you have a scale in which you rate your crimes? You're like, yeah, this is good. This is not good. Like, I haven't seen any jaywalking 3-panel crimes.
Hmm.
Technically, it is a
That's a
crime.
good. You know what? You are correct. And like something I would really like for like a Christmas gift
Mm-hmm.
to if my mom's listening to this,
Yeah.
is like just a good old encyclopedia of various. I guess a law book.
Yeah, I
I
was gonna
need I
say.
need some books. Maybe I should go to law school. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Think.
think that would really improve the quality of the comics if you became a prosecutor and then used
Oh,
your real life your work.
nah, nah. I don't want to be a prosecutor. Probably be like a good defense lawyer.
Oh yeah,
I'd
defense lawyer.
just be like, guys, come on.
Well, it'd be great because then you could just present your comics in the courtroom and be like, all right, listen, guys, this is what happened. And then you have these really great visual examples, and then you'll
I'll
sway a
take.
jury.
Oh no, even better. I'll take what he did, what they
Hmm.
say he did, but I'll make it so vague in 3 panels that the jury will be like, well, we have to have some reasonable doubt because we have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, they're gonna turn into the comment section.
That would be the thing.
Dude, yeah, they would never decide if someone is guilty or not because they just wouldn't have a clear story.
I really hope that court cases are not adjudicated on social media. But I mean, like after this year,
Who knows?
who knows, man? I'm not surprised by shit anymore.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know. I don't know. Do you watch boxing at all? I was watching the
Mm-hmm.
fight last night with Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.
Oh, how'd it
and
go?
it was very entertaining. Uh, Tyson, dude, that guy's still scary. You could tell they were holding
Yeah.
back, and even though like they were holding back, like Tyson was still dominant. Absolutely just crazy. The dude's 51 and he's moving like he's just got insane amounts of power. Um but yeah, I there was just a moment where Mario Lopez was like hosting it and the whole thing was sponsored by Triller and Weed Maps and he like did like a Weed Maps ad read and I was like, "Yo, Mario Lopez is here selling me weed maps in this Mike Tyson Roy Jones Jr. fight after Jake Paul the YouTuber just knocked out a fucking NBA player." And I was like, yeah, just it's nothing is surprising anymore. That's the world we live in.
Life is pretty weird.
Hella weird right now. All right, we'll do this real quick. All right, you ready for this?
Okay.
All right, in
Yeah.
Colorado, there is a law that says that no catapulting is allowed. You're allowed to own a catapult, like in Aspen, but you cannot discharge it in any way, shape, or form. All right, what is this? Is this usable for 3-panel crimes?
Sure.
All right, great. I guess that one's pretty. Yeah, you can have a guy who's catapulting someone, they break the law, and then something happens. Something bad happens, right?
Yeah, I kind of got an idea. It's like, okay, so you can have them, but it's not illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, so a crazy tweaker builds a castle somewhere in Colorado,
Great.
and then a bunch of people show up with their catapults to take him down, but then he's laughing at them because they can't use their catapults.
Right. There you go. They're not allowed to actually catapult things to him.
But he's got to be high on meth, so he's still breaking the law.
Yeah, there you go.
Because someone has to.
Someone has to break the law for it to be a crime.
That's right.
Yeah. Great. All right. No, all right, second one, next one. Okay. In Delaware, there are strict trick-or-treating times enforced. So, children of the city of Rehoboth Beach, I probably said that wrong, may only go trick-or-treating between the hours of 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Halloween, unless Halloween falls on a Sunday. In that case, going door to door, house to house has to happen on the evening of October 30th instead. Strict trick-or-treating laws. Is this 3-panel crimes worthy?
Absolutely. It's just a super, super like anal grandmother dressing up in like some sort of vigilante suit and like doing a version of The Purge at like 8:01 on Halloween night.
Yeah.
So I guess the first panel you'd be like, oh, she's fighting like little zombies. And the second panel would be like, those zombies look kind of like kids. And then the third panel is like, whoa, she's crazy. And she's like, did you ever play that game, Twisted Metal? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That game scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, she has one of those cars. And she's
Oh my
just
God.
like,
Just transforms and goes into some crazy shit.
maybe she is one of those cars.
Oh shit. All right, next one. All right, in Georgia, you cannot eat fried chicken with utensils. So, let's see, thanks to a 1961 law added to city code in Gainesville, Georgia, as a publicity stunt, it is illegal to eat fried chicken in the poultry capital of the world with anything other than your fingers. So one tourist was actually arrested for using a fork and violating that law in 2009. Is this worthy of 3-panel crimes?
Everything can be made into a 3-panel crime. That one is, well, what's the interesting part is, like, let's say it wasn't a novelty.
Yeah.
Let's say that there was a great fork massacre in Georgia of that year. So just a bunch of people eating chicken with like forks and knives, and then somebody pisses somebody off, and then the next thing you know, it's just everyone's got cutlery sticking out of their back.
And from then on, they banned utensils at the cookout.
Makes sense to me.
Cool. All right. In Idaho, there is Idaho is actually the only state to have an active ban on cannibalism. Technically not a crime in the rest of the nation, But in Idaho, cannibalism is defined as the non-consensual consumption of another human. Meaning, if you can get your buddy's permission to eat him, then technically it's not a crime.
Hmm.
Is
I
this
mean,
worthy?
this is very worthy. Uh, what I would guess is just like people smuggling bodies into Idaho.
Yeah. And but they've all signed a document that's like it's okay to eat me.
No, no, they still got to be breaking the law because it has to be non-consensual
Mm,
uh, eating of bodies.
right,
But like they can't like go and dig up people for their barbecue
right.
in Idaho. So they have to like cross to another state to like
Well,
raid
yeah,
those graveyards.
that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say in Idaho you collect all the human meat and then you ship it. That's the crime, shipping uh, human meat. But that's my pitch.
Bag of dicks.
Yeah, bag of just a big old bag of dicks.
Dude, have you seen those? Like, you can send people like a box of gummies
Uh huh.
that are dick shaped. It's called like Dicks by Mail.
No, I've never seen this.
Okay, and they have one. This is something I did like to my boss when when I was working in the jewelry district.
Uh huh.
Is I ordered it's like a tube with a spring loaded, and it has glitter, so it shoots out like a gummy bag, like a bag of gummy bear dicks, and then a bunch of glitter like just everywhere, and yeah,
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, you can add glitter, or you can add penis shaped confetti that'll pop out with them. And you can also double the dicks. There's a happy birthday, eat a bag of dicks card, happy birthday, dickhead card, and then just a regular happy birthday box. Just keep it simple. Um, this is incredible. I had no idea this was a thing.
I think it's cool because it's just like I like that something exists just to bring some laughter.
Yeah.
Like
I,
it's so ridiculous it shouldn't exist, and yet it does.
it's absolutely beautiful. That's the world we live in, and I love it. I love shit like that. Okay, I have a few more. In
Okay.
Iowa, you cannot fake butter. So it is actually any person who attempts to pass off margarine, oleo, or oleomargarine as real butter is guilty of a simple misdemeanor in the state of Iowa, punishable by up to 30 days in jail and a $600 fine. Fake butter is illegal.
Can still work. This would probably have to go on the OnlyFans though.
Okay, yeah, this is gonna be that real gritty, not safe for Instagram kind of shit.
Like they find out it's not butter and then straight to jail you go.
Yeah, but there's just like an unsettling amount of nudity in this one. Okay, in New Hampshire, it is forbidden to collect seaweed from the beach at night. Now there have been laws that have attempted to overturn this twice now, and for some reason it has not been overturned. What is a story we can create from seaweed being illegal to collect?
There's a racket run by like people with jellyfish heads that live in the sea and they need that seaweed. There's
Yeah,
some SpongeBob references we could do in there. I mean, I see this one working out pretty well.
that one has a lot of potential. Um, okay, I've got two more if you're up for it. Um, in Pennsylvania, bingo is only for non-felons, so no person convicted of a felony may operate a bingo game in Bensalem, Pennsylvania.
Hmm. May conduct or play.
May conduct. So I think that
So
means
so they can't
they can't run
organize
one.
one.
They can't organize one. No.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, I guess the easy one would be like underground bingo. Like it's grandma going to Fight Club,
Yeah.
but it's like really seedy.
Some of the baddest motherfuckers just playing bingo.
Just the baddest motherfuckers ever playing bingo, using like human fingers as the stamper things.
Oh yeah, I
That's
like
a little
that.
too far.
No, I don't think that's far enough. I feel like that's how you make it worthy of just the worst of the worst playing bingo.
Maybe they'll get the fingers from the Idaho folks.
Oh yeah. Oh, that brings up an interesting question. Is
Hmm.
there a 3-panel connected universe?
Oh, you mean, yeah, there's,
Are they all in a shared universe? So that means
yes.
little kid dressed up in the not Cookie Monster but kind of Cookie Monster um costume, same world as everything, all in the same.
It's all the same universe.
All right, well you've confirmed it. Now it's canon. You're locked in on
Sweet.
that.
Good. I'm going to change my mind tomorrow.
Release a statement that is not all
That's
the same.
that's the one that I'd like to do, is like a silent book,
Mm,
because they're all in these like monster suits,
yeah.
and like the only way that you be caught is if you start talking like a people. So no one talks, but then they just keep it going.
Yeah. I think that one's cool because there's a few of them that are like there's very clearly this like bigger universe that's kind of set up in this, but we just don't see that, you know. It's like uh crime can still happen in the sci-fi worlds, you know.
I like it when like I work with somebody who's, they do like sword and sorcery, or like sci-fi or cyberpunk, or just like any kind of other genre, because it's just like, yeah, just like what you said, it's like people doing shit against the rules is not specific to cigarette smoking scarred men in New York City basements,
Yeah.
you know.
But we all have that idea within us, so we know that that's like something seedy, something.
Well, that's kind of why, like, there's a book that I just finished this year, and it's crime, but it's not in that kind of, like, don't get me wrong, like I loved like Killing Them Softly, and like other crime movies that have that kind of like just grungy eh,
Yeah.
feeling to them. But I also think it's interesting when there's people committing crimes that, like, you don't look at somebody and you're like, oh, that guy he's totally breaking the law. Like, that's a criminal. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I like it. I started picking up on that when I was reading like a bunch of the James M. Cain novels,
Mm-hmm.
like Double Indemnity and Postman Always Rings Twice, and the short story collection, like The Baby in the Icebox, like all that kind of stuff. He doesn't have these characters, like, they're not like, most of them aren't like badass like John Wick assassin dudes just hanging out on a Friday and then they decide to get into a shootout. It's like these people that are normal
Yeah.
to a certain extent, that find themselves in circumstances that we could, just as likely find ourselves in, and then they get themselves deeper and deeper into trouble. Like, I always thought that was a lot more interesting.
No, I totally agree. I think that's why like Breaking Bad was so interesting. Like it was this guy who
Exactly.
was
Yeah.
normal and he became the like, you know, basically like the quote unquote like total badass motherfucker. But we got to see the whole process. You know, this guy who just gets diagnosed with cancer, everyday thing, and that changes
Yeah.
him. You know, to be this, he solves his problem of leaving a legacy in a way that most people wouldn't. Right?
But the interesting thing, though, is that he does actually get what he wants,
Yeah.
but it's not really what he wanted. And he
No.
doesn't do it in the way that, because he does leave a legacy, he does take care of his family, but he loses his soul, fucks up everybody around him, and then dies.
Yeah.
And he's going to die anyways. Do you know what I mean? But like, I always love stories like that where it's just like the character still got the thing that they thought would make everything okay, and then they realize, like, oh shit, no, like,
Yeah.
this isn't the deal. I don't know if you've ever had that kind of experience in your life where, like, you wanted something and then, like, you got it and you're just like, fuck, I still feel like shit, what's going, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of it, for me anyways, comes down to like the way that I go about getting things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not hard to get things in life, but it's difficult to sustain them if I've gone and done something fucked up.
Yeah.
That's just my like personal, I don't know, opinion.
No, I feel that. I've
Um,
definitely done things where I've gone to get something or gone to accomplish something, and maybe in the process it's like hurt somebody, and I was like, well, was doing this or getting that thing worth, whatever pain I might have caused that person, and the main thing I think about is like having a little sister. Like I think I have a lot of regret of like, I found her very annoying and very, just like any other little sibling, but to deal with that instead of like understanding or being very vocal, I just decided to like ignore her and would, you
mm,
know, she would talk to me and I just wouldn't say anything back, and I was like, that's worse than like fighting with her and having these arguments and disagreements and like opening that communication in that way, even if it's like a little aggressive or something, but ignoring a person, like I realize now that it was like that was pretty fucked up of me, like as a kid doing that.
for sure.
So yeah, I
But
totally get that.
what's your relationship like now?
We're pretty close. We chat like
Yeah,
every so often.
well, that's good. I mean, I don't know, something that I appreciated is like a good friend of mine told me, it's like you can't look at yourself, especially for shit that you did when you were a kid. It's like you can't look at yourself as like, with your 30-year-old brain at your 11-year-old actions.
Yeah,
And if anything, what I found is like that feeling of like, oh yeah, that was shitty. It's like if I can fix it, then cool, I'll do something to fix it. But like if I can't fix it, then the feeling is just a really good indicator that like, oh well, that's not the way that I want to show up and like treat people.
yeah,
So next thing going forward is all, I guess what I'm trying to say is like there's always somewhere to go and like make things better, even if it's not just directly like that one person or situation.
yeah, totally. And I think that's something that's really really important to being a man. Like, yeah, I'm gonna say it, being a man in like this time and um in this era in this age, right? Like you got a lot of people who've done a lot of shitty things to women in the past, and I think if you've been part of that, you gotta own up to it and be like and apologize to those people, to those women that you may have wronged in the past, and be like, hey, listen, like I was young, I didn't know better, I do now, and I apologize. I think that's why I see a lot of guys like getting in trouble with that because they haven't addressed those things and they left those people totally hurt in whatever way that is. But yeah. Anyway, Tony, thank you so much for your time. That's everything from me. Seriously, thank you so much for being here. I know it's a bit of a somber note to leave on, but
Well, I was gonna say if you want, we can do that. You had one more, didn't you?
oh yes, I do have one more. Okay, so in Washington, it is illegal. There's a law that says no Sasquatch poaching. So it is illegal to poach a Sasquatch in at least two Washington counties. In 1991, Whatcom County declared its roughly 1 million acres of land an official Sasquatch protection and refugee area, giving our nation its first Bigfoot sanctuary. Now, Bigfoot does exist. Lawmakers reasoned it would be an endangered species and therefore in need of protection. And for this reason, Skamania County has considered Bigfoot poaching a felony since 1969, still punishable by a $1,000 fine. Now, I feel like the only way to make this three penal crimes worthy is if there is a Sasquatch that appears or someone posing as a Sasquatch. But what do you think? You're the mastermind here.
There's a few different things that come to mind. One, you could have a Sasquatch impersonating a human to push that legislation through.
Yeah.
Two, you could have a Sasquatch hanging out with Jeff Goldblum and the scientists from Jurassic Park making more Sasquatches.
Yeah.
Three, you could have a Sasquatch selling like get out of jail free cards or like hunting tags for
Oh, he's
Sasquatches.
selling out his own kind.
I think we'll go with that one.
Yeah, that one's bitter. And he'll help you hunt them down too. What a fucking jerk.
That's fucked up, man.
There we go. All right. And with
But yeah.
that, thank you so much, Tony. Is there anything you want to plug? Plug the Instagram, the OnlyFans, the Patreon, your newsletter.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be coming out with a newsletter called Five Fingered.
Mm.
It's nothing to do with OnlyFans.
I don't know.
No, it's like the Five Finger discount, not
Oh, gotcha.
the sexual connotation. You can sign up for it if you go to the website www.threepanelcrimes.com. There's a lovely little email thingy.
I
Put your
just
stuff
signed
in.
up for it, I think yesterday or Friday.
Sweet.
So I'm
Thanks,
ready.
man. That'll be coming out. I'm having fun with that. I got a couple of really great artists and cartoonists that are down to make some regular appearances, and we got some good stuff. One of those guys does stuff for the New Yorker now, so
Awesome.
this will definitely not be the New Yorker.
As it shouldn't be. You know, the New Yorker is great, but you know, they're not very edgy. They're not, you know. I feel like
Yeah,
they play it safe and clever.
this will be the a different thing than one would expect.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun, and then Three Panel Crimes on Instagram is just at Three Panel Crimes, all spelt out in words, and I hope to have some stuff coming out soon, and I'd also like to do a Kickstarter. Just trying to decide which thing to do first. I know people are asking about doing a Three Panel Crimes Kickstarter.
Right.
We're working on putting that together, but I also want to make something like that really, really cool and actually give people a real reason for giving me money for a paper book. So I'm putting together a few things. Pandemic kind of slowed me down a little bit.
Oh, awesome, Tony. Again, I totally appreciate you being here. You're an absolute legend. Whether or not you think so, I'm saying it, hot take. But not really. I'm sure everyone will agree. Cool, man. That's it from me. So thank
Sweet.
you.
Do we have like an outro?
No,
do we
I don't
like
have an
sing
outro. I'm still
Is
new
there a
at
song?
this.
Should we make an outro right now?
Yeah, let's do it. Normally when I put these together, I do have like an outro song, like not that I sing or anything, but just like it's just like a simple beat I found and then some little animation I made, but it's not that crazy. But I'm open to pitches, Tony. What you got?
I don't know. I'm thinking something involving a Sasquatch.
Yeah, and to all you Sasquatches out there, don't you dare sell out your people. All right, stay true to your homies, your Sasquatch homies, and protect the Sasquatch sanctuary. We only have so many of them left.